wa Kinigi. Umuntu ashobora kwibaza ati ubundi iyi pariki imariye iki abanyarwanda by'umwihariko abatuye aka karere ka Musanze. Niyo mpamvu rero ndi kumwe n'umuyobozi wa pariki y'igihugu y'Ibirunga akaba ari bwa Nwingeri Prosper. Mwaramutse Prosper?
Mwaramutse neza.
Igihugu y'Ibirunga, ndagira ngo uduhe ishusho y'iyi pariki.
Murakoze cyane. Iyi parike y'Ibirunga ishusho yayo ni nziza cyane. Ubu ngubu twita ku nshuro ya 15 turishimira ko ingagi zikomeje kwiyongera, zakomeje ubu ngubu ibarura twakoze ubushize byagaragaje ko ziyongereye ku kigereranyo cya 26.3%, bikaba zirikomeje kuzamuka ziyongera cyane, kandi ndetse n'imiryango mpuzamahanga yagaragaje ko ubu ngubu arizo zonyine nguge zifite imiryango iri kwiyongera mu gihe zindi ku isi zose ziri kugenda zishira. Ikindi twishimira ni uko ubukerarugendo muri iyi myaka bwakomeje kugenda butera imbere, kandi uko butera imbere ariko na ya gahunda yo gusangira umutungo uturuka ku bukerarugendo ugenda wiyongera. Ubu ngubu mu gihe twatangiraga kwita amazina ingagi muri 2005 twatangaga na miliyoni zitarenze 20. Ubu ngubu kuri parike nationale y'Ibirunga gusa turatanga hafi zirenze miliyoni zigera kuri 600, kandi uretse izo miliyoni zirenze 600 dufite n'ibindi bikorwa by'iterambere, amahoteli, ibikorwa by'abaturage ubwabo, ku buryo inzego zose muri kano karere ko no mu Rwanda hose ubukerarugendo bwatumye tuzamura ubufatanye n'abaturage mu kubungabunga parike. Ubu ngubu abaturage baturiye parike nationale y'Ibirunga mu turere uko ari 4 mu mirenge 12 mu ntara 2 yo mu majyaruguru n'iy'uburengerazuba, bose n'abafatanya bikorwa beyagiye mu mashyirahamwe, kandi ayo mashyirahamwe n'ibikorwa bafite byose bishingiye kuri parike nationale y'Ibirunga.
Iyi parike nationale y'Ibirunga rero umwaka ushize ahabaruwe ko yinjirije u Rwanda miliyoni 20 z'amadolari ya Amerika, twayashyira mu manyarwanda bikaba hafi miliyari 18. Ndagira ngo utubwire aya mafaranga cyangwa se aya madovize izi ngagi zinjiriza u Rwanda agera ku baturage gute? Ibyo byose atabageraho ntabwo aba bantu tubona inyuma yacu bishimye gutya byashoboka ko baba bameze.
Gahunda buriya ya mbere tuvuga ni gahunda yo gusangira umutungo uturuka ku bukerarugendo, nk'uko mubizi yatangiye 2015 parike, ariko ubu ngubu hashize genda bwiyongera, niko umutungo wiyongera, niko n'amafaranga ajya mu baturage nayo agenda yiyongera. Iyo gahunda rero niyo ya mbere. Hanyuma kandi nk'uko nabivuze, uretse iyo gahunda ishingiye kuri gahunda ya leta, kuri politike ya leta, hariho na za gahunda noneho z'abafatanyabikorwa. Ubu dufite nka Sakora ni hoteli ariko yubakiwe abaturage kubw'ubufatanye bwa leta n'imiryango mpuzamahanga. Iyo hoteli ubwayo yonyine ubu muri mwaka yinjiza mu baturage ba hano Kinigi na Nyange miliyoni zirenze 300. Ibyo 300 z'amanyarwanda. Ibyo byose ni byiza bituruka ku bukerarugendo. Ibyo bintu byose iyo abaturage bari kuvuga amazi bafite ubu ngubu, iyo bari kuvuga imihanda, iyo bari kuvuga amashuri, iyo bari kuvuga ayo mashyirahamwe navuze abona ku mutungo, uyu mwaka twatanze mu gutera inkunga gahunda ya Girinka, twatanze inka zirenga 700 muri iyi mirenge 12 inka muri gahunda ya Girinka. Ibyo bikorwa byose byaraje bituma rwose aba baturage nicyo bishimira, kandi uko buri mwaka ubukerarugendo bwagenze neza niko tuvugana amafaranga ko yiyongereye, hanyuma noneho kwita izina ikaza ari akarusho.
Urakoze cyane Prosper. Birumvikana rero nkuko twabibabwiraga umwaka ushize wa 2018 izi ngagi zinjirije u Rwanda miliyoni 18 z'amadolari y'Amerika, ubwo tuyashyize mu mafaranga y'u Rwanda ni miliyari 20. Ni amafaranga menshi, ni miliyoni nari maze kubabwira ko zinjirije miliyoni 20 z'amadolari y'Amerika, twayashyira mu manyarwanda bikaba miliyari 18. Ni amafaranga menshi ku buryo agera kuri aba baturage nk'uko umuyobozi w'iyi pariki nationale y'Ibirunga amaze kubivuga. Abinjiza rero aya madovize cyangwa se aya madolari ni abanyamahanga basura u Rwanda. Reka mbere yuko nganira n'umuturage atubwira icyo iyi pariki ibamariye nk'abaturiye, by'umwihariko uyu murenge waba wa Kinigi, waba umurenge wa Muhoza n'indi mirenge yose igaragiye iyi pariki, batubwire ese kuba u Rwanda rubungabunga ibidukikije, kuba u Rwanda rwita cyane ku ngagi ari nacyo gituma ingagi zikomeza kororoka, bo babifashe bati. Ikindi baraza no kugira ubutumwa batanga by'umwihariko kuri uyu munsi twakwita ko ari umunsi mukuru wo kwita izina aba bana b'ingagi 20. Hanyuma mu kanya ndagaruka nganira n'umuturage.
Hello, dear friends in Rwanda, and scientists, trackers, rangers, students, community leaders, and members, all of you who are working in conservation and celebrating today. I salute you all and send my deepest gratitude for your dedication to Rwanda.
Over the past 25 years, it has been both a challenging and rewarding journey. Through this journey, I've witnessed major progress institutions in charge of conservation and to developing sustainable tourism that benefits as well as
Importantly, though, this did not just happen by chance. Strategic decision-making, backed by the political will to make it work.
Rwandan tradition of naming babies has its roots in the rich Rwandan culture. That's really amazing. And today, conservation on an important day, an event like this.
It's not only vital that we do what we can. This incredible species. This is crucial to do for the Rwanda's economy and local communities.
Continued commitment to conservation, and we just hope you guys have a great celebration day.
And we are honored to celebrate Rwanda's visionary during the 15th annual KWITA IZINA.
Happy 15th KWITA IZINA from everybody at Arsenal Football Club to all the people of Rwanda. And everybody at Arsenal Football Club looks forward to watching the celebrations from London.
The showing here in Rwanda also advances human society and human progress on so many levels, from our health and well-being to our cultural and spiritual life, and also our economic development. So I wish you all a very happy naming ceremony, and to our newborn gorilla, let me also wish her welcome to this world.
And congrats to all the gorilla moms who gave birth to newborn gorilla babies.
I don't think the gorilla moms understand that you're saying congratulations to them, but they did have babies, and I think it's amazing that there's a place that celebrates animals having babies.
Happy 15th KWITA IZINA Rwanda.
Congratulate you on your 15th KWITA IZINA. It's a fantastic achievement. We've got to protect these 1,000 left gorillas in the wild. Arsenal is super prized. They're congratulating you as well. Keep up the fantastic work, and I'm so excited. Well done, Rwanda.
Looking forward for the 15th KWITA IZINA in September 6, 2019. I want to say good luck, in which the gorilla naming ceremony will continue improving conservation of life. I want to say thank you and Marakosi.
And thank you all for your commitment to the gorillas we all love so much. Murakoze.
mumaze kubikurikira rero ko kuba iyi pariki y'ibirunga iri aha ngaha ntabwo ifitiye akamaro abanyarwanda n'u Rwanda gusa ahubwo n'abayisura baba abanyamahanga bishimira uburyo u Rwanda ruyibungabunga bitari no kuvuga gusa ngo ni iyi pariki y'ibirunga gusa ahubwo n'ibidukikije muri rusange n'ibindi binyabuzima biri hirya no hino. Ndi kumwe rero mu kanya mbibutse ko naganiraga n'umuyobozi w'iyi pariki y'igihugu y'ibirunga Prosperi, none hano ndi kumwe n'uwamahoro Agnes. Agnes, waramutse neza?
Naramutse namwe.
Numwe mu baturage rero baturiye iyi pariki y'ibirunga, tuye hano mu murenge wa Kinigi, akaba akora akazi k'ubukorikori. Agnes, ndagira ngo ugendeye ku mwuga wo gukora ubukorikori ngumbwira iyi pariki y'ibirunga mu bijyanye cyangwa se mu kubihuza n'ibyo ukora.
Maro bakimara kubihuza kureka kwangiriza parike moka kuri parike kuko amafaranga yari 5 bahita bayongera abicumi ahabereye 10 byahise bitunezeza tugira n'ibikorwa byinshi cyane.
Ubukorikori bwawe se buragurwa cyane kubera iyi pariki, kubera abanyamahanga Rwanda se barakitabira cyangwa se
abakerarugendo bo bakabyitabira by'umwihariko kuko baba baje bareba ngo mbese abantu bakoze ibi bintu ni bande, ni bantu ki. Ubwo bahita baza bakatureba, bakareba ko twishize hamwe, bakareba ko turi abantu bahuje, bakareba ko mbese dufite umutekano.
Reka ngushimire cyane Agnes, tubabwira abadukurikiye kuri televiziyo y'u Rwanda ko tugikomeje kubabera hano mu Kinigi ahagiye kubera umuhango ku nshuro ya 15 wo kwita abana b'ingagi 25 baturuka mu miryango 25. Mu kanya katarambiranye rero ubwo umushyitsi mukuru nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika Paul Kagame aza kuba ageze hano, turaza gukomeza n'ubundi tubagezeho gahunda zitandukanye kugeza ku musozo w'iyi gahunda. babyemeza bo ubwabo batarinze kubyibutswa n'ubuyobozi ko bagomba gusigasira iyi pariki y'igihugu y'ibirunga. Tubabwire ko rero mu mwaka wa 2005 aribwo uyu muhango watangiye wo kwita izina abana b'ingagi. Aba bana b'ingagi akaba ari ku nshuro ya 15 abagiye kwitwa amazina akaba ari abana. Umuyobozi w'iyi pariki y'igihugu y'ibirunga yabitubwiraga mu katu bakaba barinjije miliyoni. Byumvikana ko uko iyi pariki cyangwa se uko pariki zo mu Rwanda zinjije byanze bikunze bigera ku baturage ntago ahubwo n'imiryango 41. Ibyo rero bikaba bingo batari n'aba hano mu karere ka Musanze gusa.
ageze hano tumwakirane amashi y'urufaya ndetse n'urugwiro rwinshi cyane yigomwe indi mirimo y'akazi ashinzwe gakomeye cyane kugira ngo twite izina tukore uyu muhango wo kwita izina ku nshuro ya 15 umukuru w'igihugu tumuha amashi menshi cyane. Twishimiye cyane kwakira twishimire iki gikorwa cyo kwita izina ubwo tugiye kukiziza ku nshuro ya 15 igikorwa gifite tuyazunguza tumugaragariza yuko twishimiye ko yaje kwifatanya natwe. We are very pleased kugaragarize urukundo rwanyu urugwiro umugaragarize ko mwishimiye cyane kandi komeze rwose tumugaragarize urwo rugwiro tumugaragarize ko mwishimira kubaje kwifatanya natwe n'iby'agaciro.
Warmly receive His Excellency President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, to the tent. He's greeted us, you know, with our invitation to come and help us name the 25. His Excellency has been such a great champion of conservation. KWITA IZINA with us. Thank you.
Tugaragarize umukuru w'igihugu kumwishimira tumshiro koko kuba yaje kwifatanya natwe ariko by'umwihariko ya mbere mu gushyiraho gahunda nk'izi ngizi gahunda ndetse no kurinda ubuzima bw'ibinyabuzima bibaho by'umwihariko ingagi zo muri parike y'ibirunga.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Let us all please remain standing for the national anthem.
Reka duhaguruke tukurikire indirimbo y'igihugu. Murakoze cyane mwese reka noneho twicare mu byubahiro byanyu.
Your Excellency President of the Republic of Rwanda, our distinguished namers, honorable ministers who are present here today, conservation partners, friends of Rwanda, distinguished guests, good afternoon, and once again a very warm welcome to KWITA IZINA, the 15th annual celebration here in Kinigi. My name is Louise Kanyonga, and together with Lion, we shall be your masters of ceremony for the event today. Your Excellency, since early this morning, this beautiful location here at the foothills of the Great Volcanoes has been taken over by celebration. We've had singing and dancing, and it's really been a testament of what KWITA IZINA has become. A very unique Rwandan celebration where we celebrate life, we celebrate revival, and we celebrate a hope for a better future. And Your Excellency, there is a lot to celebrate. Over the last 15 years, a lot of strides have been made to bring the mountain gorilla from the brink of extinction and onto the path to becoming a thriving species. We celebrate the communities that have been transformed to become the prime and premier custodians of conservation. We celebrate the jobs, the thousands of jobs that have been created, the livelihoods that have been improved because of conservation. And undoubtedly, Your Excellency, none of this would have happened without your leadership. I think I can speak on behalf of everyone here, Your Excellency, when I say that your vision, your unrelentless commitment to fully integrating conservation into the national development agenda has made Rwanda today a spotlight for conservation, for responsible tourism. And this, distinguished guests, is something that is extremely important in the times we live in today, where over 1 million animal and plant species are under the threat of extinction. Conservation is important more than ever today. And so even as we celebrate the great strides that have been made in the 15 years, let us remember and renew our commitment to the long journey ahead. The mountain gorilla still remains an endangered species. And globally, we're seeing human activity pressuring natural ecosystems to disappear at an alarming rate. Your Excellency, with that, it is my distinct honor to invite the Honorable Governor of the Northern Province, Honorable Gatabazi, to give us his welcome remarks. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in welcoming him as he makes his way.
Reka duhe ikaze guverineri w'intara y'Amajyaruguru ijambo ry'ibanze cyane kubera umuvuduko w'iterambere bakunze kumwita speed governor.
Murakoze. Ndagira ngo mbere yuko ngira icyo mvuga nsabe abaturage b'intara y'Amajyaruguru ari abari hano n'abatari hano hunda mumfashe twakire nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika wacu yageze hano mu mwamashyi n'impundu abaturage mwese hirya no hino. Nyakubahwa Perezida bahero bandi muri hano, urwo n'urubyiruko nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika rubafite ku mutima. Ndagira ngo nshimire kandi n'abaza gutanga amazina baturutse hirya no hino ku isi, abantu bakomeye bazwi mu bihe binyuranye. Ndabona ndagira ngo tubakirize amashyi n'impundu kuko baje gushyigikira nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika muri uyu muhango. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, uyu munsi abaturage b'intara y'Amajyaruguru bongeye kwishimira kubana namwe muri uyu muhango ukozwe ku nshuro ya 15 wo kwita izina abana b'ingagi. Uyu munsi hakaba ari bwitwe abana 25. Umuhango mwebwe ubwanyu mwagennye kuba ingarukamwaka, ukaba umwanya wo kwerekana uburumbuke bw'ingagi zo mu birunga, ndetse kandi akaba n'umwanya wo kugaragaza iterambere ry'ubukerarugendo bugira impinduka nziza ku baturage muhoza ku mutima, kuko icyo mushaka nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika ni impinduka igaragarira buri wese. Mboneyeho rero umwanya wo kubifuriza ikaze mu ntara y'Amajyaruguru, muze kugira ibihe byiza muri aya mahumbezi aranga iyi ntara. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, uyu muhango wo kwita izina ingagi abana bazo nimwe mwawutekereje, nimwe mwawemeje, kandi ukabubera mu ntara y'Amajyaruguru, akaba ari ishema n'icyubahiro mwahesheje abaturage batuye intara yacu y'Amajyaruguru. Uyu muhango kandi uduha inshingano zikomeye nk'abaturage b'intara zo gukomeza gushyira imbaraga nyinshi mu kwita ku kubungabunga iyi parike y'ibirunga icumbikiye izi ngagi, dore kandi ko twebwe mu ntara yacu twemera ko iyo zagize amahoro zikamwa amadovize. Ni inshingano rero yacu kuzirinda, kuzibungabungira umutekano mu buryo busesuye. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, munyemerere kandi nkoresha uyu mwanya kugira ngo mbashimire byimazeyo kuba mwarafashe icyemezo cy'uko amafaranga ava mu bukerarugendo ahabwa abaturage bo muri aka gace baturiye iri shyamba, dufatanyije na RDB na Sakora nka koperative y'abaturage. Bamwe muri bo bari basanzwe ari abarushimutsi, abandi ari abatutizi, abandi ari abavumvu, n'abandi batakundaga ibidukikije, ubu bakaba barahindutse inshuti z'ibidukikije kandi bakaba n'abaterankunga b'abandi baturage. Turashimira rero RDB nk'ikigo kibishinzwe na Sakora bafatanya ko abaturage bamaze kubona ibikorwa by'iterambere birimo amazi meza, birimo kubakira abatishoboye, amashuri, amavuriro, ibiro by'imirenge ya hano, ndetse n'ibindi bikorwa by'iterambere mu buhinzi n'ubworozi bagiye baterwamo inkunga. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, abacuruzi n'abandi bikorera bo mu ntara y'Amajyaruguru ndetse n'abandi dushishikariza baba mu murwa mukuru wa Kigali bamaze kwiteza imbere, bamaze kubaka amahoteli meza. Tukaba tugejeje hafi 58, harimo amahoteli y'inyenyeri 5, amahoteli y'inyenyeri 4, ay'inyenyeri 3, amaroji n'andi macumbi acumbikira abantu bagenda hano, ku buryo inama zaba nini zirengeje abantu 1000 bashobora kubona ahantu bacumbika, ndetse na 2 na 3 duretse no gucumbikira imikino ya East African yarimo abantu barenga 3000 bari bavuye mu bihugu byize East African Community, kandi bacumbikirwa bose hano mu mujyi wa Musanze. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, kubera izi nyungu tuzi neza ko ziva ku bukerarugendo, tuzakomeza gukangurira abaturage gucunga neza no kwiteza imbere, ariko cyane cyane no kubakangurira kugira isuku ituma uwinjira mu Rwanda yinjiriye i Kigali n'uzaba yinjiriye mu Bugesera mu minsi iza azayagera hano akabona isuku, yasuku mwadutoje. Kandi ibyo byose tubiganiraho n'abikorera, amadini n'abandi dufatanyije kugira ngo mu minsi iri imbere ikibazo cy'umwanda kibaye amateka. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, mu rwego rwo guteza imbere ubukerarugendo, hari ibyifuzo twaganiriye na Minisiteri y'Ibikorwa Remezo. Hari imihanda twifuza ko yakorwa. Hari umuhanda uva Musanze ukanyura kuri Ines ukaza hano mu Kinigi, tuwukoresha kenshi iyo ari igihe cyo kwita izina. Ni umuhanda ufite ibirometero 7 na metero 200, ushobora kuba wakoreshwa neza kugira ngo tuzaye tugira abashyitsi bagende mu bwisanzure. Dufite umuhanda uva Kampanga iby'iwacu ukajya Bisate Lodge, mwafunguye muri 2017. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, ukwiriye kujyamo kaburimbo kugira ngo iriya hoteli nziza n'abakerarugendo binjira mu ishyamba abona aho baca hameze neza. Hari umuhanda uva Da Vinci ukazamuka ukajya Sabyinyo Silverback Hotel, ufite ibirometero 2 na metero 800, naho twifuza ko wakorwa ukajyamo kaburimbo. Ndetse n'umuhanda Kinigi hano turi uca Amakoro Lodge ugakomeza ujya Cyanika, ukaba wafasha abakerarugendo binjiriye Cyanika bava mu bihugu duturanye, ndetse n'abashaka gusura Burera n'ibiyaga biyikikije. Iyo mihanda rero yose ikaba ifite ibirometero 28 na metero 800. Tukaba twifuza ko byazakorwa kugira ngo abagenda hano bazajye bagenda banezerewe. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nasoza nsaba yuko dufatanyije na RDB twashaka ibindi bikorwa byiza bishobora gufata abakerarugendo bakamara igihe kinini hano mu ntara yacu. Harimo, Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, igihondohondo, akarere ahantu nyaburanga hazwi kwa Gihanga i Buhanga, kandi igihondohondo akaba ari hahandi wa mugani bavuga ngo keza karigura, ariko kakigura uko kagaragaye. Ubushize mwatubajije icyakorerwa, RDB yagerageje gutangira kuhakorera, ariko twifuza ko hakwiyongera ahantu hasurwa, ahantu hari amateka, ahantu abami bimikirwaga bagahatanga umugambi wo kuyobora igihugu, kandi akaba ari ahantu naho hakwiye kuzamura agaciro kaho. Dufite n'ibindi byiza Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, nk'uko mubizi, hari urugezi, hakaba ibiyaga n'utundi duce nyaburanga twiza mu ntara yacu y'Amajyaruguru. Twifuza ko twajya dufata abakerarugendo bagatindira. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, turabashimira kuko ibyo twifuza nk'abaturage ni nacyo cyifuzo cyanyu. Turabakiriye, turabishimiye, tubasabiye umugisha, kandi turashima ko muzakomeza kuduteza imbere kugira ngo tujye mu cyerekezo mutwifuza. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, murakoze, mugire umunsi mwiza.
Thank you very much, Honorable Governor, for those welcome remarks. The Governor thanked all of you for being here, welcomed you to beautiful Kinigi. he highlighted the social and economic benefits that have come to the communities living around the mountain gorilla habitat as a result of the conservation efforts and their integration into the national economic agenda. And importantly, he continued to challenge the communities to continue being stewards of conservation. Thank you very much, Honorable Governor. At this time, I will now invite the Chief Tourism Officer of the Rwanda Development Board, Ms. Belize Kariza, to also deliver her welcome remarks. Please join her as she makes her way. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, Honorable CEO of the Rwanda Development Board, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Governor of the Northern Province, distinguished KWITA IZINA namers, past and present, heads of tourism boards and conservation organizations, members of the diplomatic corps, esteemed partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, baturage b'akarere ka Musanze, n'abo mu tundi dukora kuri parike y'Ibirunga, nimugire amahoro. Nejejwe no kubona duteraniye aha kuri uyu munsi twizihiza ku nshuro ya 15 uyu muhango utagira kusa wo kwita amazina abana b'ingagi. Kuba mwaje aha mu Kinigi kwifatanya natwe ni ibyishimo kandi ni ishema kuri twe. Nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika, imbaga iteraniye hano yaje kwizihiza ibyiza by'u Rwanda, irimo n'abanyamahanga badukunda, bakunda u Rwanda kandi cyane, ariko batumva Ikinyarwanda neza. Nagira ngo munyemereye nabo mbabwire muri rurimi babasha kumva kurushaho, maneze mboneyeho kubasobanurira iby'uyu muhango waduteranyije hano. Murakoze cyane kubinyemerera. Good afternoon and welcome to the foothills of the Volcanoes National Park for the 15th KWITA IZINA Gorilla Naming Ceremony. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Kinigi and to the most important event on Rwanda's conservation calendar. Thank you for joining us, and I wish to extend a special note of appreciation to all our guests who have traveled from different corners of the world to be with us today. Murakoze cyane, thank you. Distinguished guests, for 30 decades prior to the first official gorilla naming ceremony, park rangers and researchers named Rwanda's mountain gorilla babies as part of monitoring each gorilla in their family and habitat. In 2005, we began officially naming baby mountain gorillas in what has become a truly global celebration of nature. By giving a name to these majestic animals, we give them the highest value, a value they undoubtedly deserve. I'm proud to share that over the last 15 years, 281 baby mountain gorillas have been named as part of this celebration. As we give names to 25 baby gorillas today, we celebrate our conservation success, and I would like to thank the local community, rangers, trackers, vets, researchers, porters, and friends from all over the world long-term survival. The most recent census of 2016 tells us that the mountain gorillas population in the Virunga Massif has grown by 23% since 2010 to 604 individuals. Certainly a conservation achievement story worth celebrating, and one that will not have been possible without the tireless efforts of our many conservationists and community partners from here at home and from around the world. Rwanda's gorilla conservation success has been mirrored in other parts of the country, with the successful reintroduction of eastern black rhinos as well as African lions to Akagera National Park, where the Big Five are now thriving. Rwanda also created one of the continent's newest protected area, that is the Kishwati-Mukura National Park, which will see this regional biodiversity hotspot rehabilitated and protected for generations to come, as well as providing opportunities for amazing visitors' experiences in the years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, as we celebrate today, it is important to reflect on the wider benefits that conservation and ecotourism have brought to local communities, to our fellow Rwandans. Through a revenue sharing scheme, we invest 10% of our tourism receipts into the communities surrounding our national parks. Since the program began in 2005, more than $5.8 million has been invested in 647 projects in communities adjacent to Volcanoes National Park, Akagera National Park, and Nyungwe National Park. The program has built schools, water harvesting facilities, provided homes for Rwandan families, developed modern markets and community health centers, as well as so many other community projects. In the last year alone, the program supported an investment of $1.7 million into communities, a 51% increase revenues benefits to Rwanda over 2017. We are confident that this trend will only continue as well as we welcome more and more visitors to our national parks every year. When combined with the community investment programs of our conservationists and many community partners, the total investment since 2005 increased to an outstanding thing, the investment made by the government of Rwanda alone. The result of this investment is clear to see for both people and nature. I would also like to sincerely thank our valued sponsors and partners in conservation, sustainable tourism, and community development. Through your participation here, we've been able to make this year's KWITA IZINA the best ever. Let us enjoy today's festivities and continue the rewarding work of protecting these majestic mountain gorillas. Thank you. Murakoze cyane.
Murakoze cyane, tumwongera amashyi menshi cyane umuyobozi ushinzwe ubukerarugendo mu kigo cy'igihugu gishinzwe iterambere. Mu magambo make nababwira yuko yamanje gushimira abashyitsi bacu kuba baje kwifatanya KWITA IZINA uyu muhango mwiza uri mu muco nyarwanda. Na gatanu yashimiye cyane abagize uruhare rukomeye cyane, abakomeza kugira uruhare rukomeye cyane mu kubungabunga ibidukikije no kurinda ubuzima bw'ibinyabuzima biba muri n'izindi parike y'Akagera ndetse na parike ya Nyungwe. Aragira ati noneho nibi bikorwa byagiye bigirira akamaro abaturage mu buryo bugaragara cyane. Anabishimira leta y'u Rwanda na nyakubahwa perezida wa Repubulika kuko mu mafaranga yinjizwa mu bukerarugendo harayo agenerwa abaturage n'ibikorwa biteza imbere abaturage, kandi biragaragara koko by'umwihariko abaturage baturiye parike z'igihugu cyacu. Yagize ati nanone nshimire cyane buri muntu wese wagize uruhare kugira ngo KWITA IZINA ya 15 ibayo KWITA IZINA nziza kurusha izindi zagiye zibaho. Ndumva twese twakwiha amashyi menshi cyane.
Thank you, Manzi. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to help me recognize a few today. I meant to give a special His Excellency, former Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. You're very welcome, Your Excellency. Ambassador Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. We're very honored to have you, Ambassador. We also have with us Her Royal Highness Princess Royal Marine Society of Jordan, among several other organizations. Your Royal Highness, we're very honored to have you here with us. We also have the Secretary General of the Commonwealth who has joined us here today, Patricia Scotland. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in honoring her as well. Thank you very much. There are so many more. I just want to give you a little test. We cannot reveal all the exceptional people that we have here today, and we'll be introducing them to you later on. Thank you very much. Manzi?
Akoze cyane, reka dukomezanye na gahunda rikunze kudususurutsa hano muri muhango yo KWITA IZINA. Itsinda rizobereye cyane mu gukina udukino dushimishije tubereye ijisho ariko dutanga n'ubutumwa bukomeye cyane. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to welcome a troupe, a very famous troupe here in Rwanda that is very famous for not only dancing but showing, putting together plays. They carry a message. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mashirika. Tuhe amashyi menshi cyane itorero Mashirika.
And requests from our distinguished guests. I think you cannot wait to hear who's here, all the great namers that we have here. So I will not keep you in suspense any longer. I'll just quickly introduce all the namers that we have here with us today. In addition to the namers that I have already mentioned, we have with us Miss Naomi Campbell, who is a celebrated English supermodel. and we'll be introducing her later as well. We also have with us Ronan Donovan, who is a photographer with National Geographic. We also have a very young man with a very compelling story that I will be sharing later, Emmanuel Nirinjimana. We also have with us Dame Louise Martin, who is the president of the Commonwealth Games Federation. We have Mr. Luke Bells and Paul Milton, who are both with the Singita Kwitonda Lodge. We have another young Rwandan that is known and admired by many of his peers, Joseph Areruya, a Rwandan cyclist, very decorated cyclist. We also have with us Mr. Marco Lambertini, who is the Director General of the Worldwide Fund for Nature. Another young, talented Rwandan that is joining us today is Sherry Silva. We also have with us Chairman of the Nation Media Group, Dr. Wilfred Kiboro. We also have a few rangers, the unsung heroes of conservation in oftentimes, who will be joining us as namers today, one of whom is Anthony Nzuchi. Another ranger that is here with us today is Jean Nepomusem Musekura. We also have a couple of Excellency ambassadors who will be joining us as namers. The first is Ambassador of Israel, Sir Ron Adams, and also His Excellency Karen Chaila, Ambassador of the Russian Federation to the Republic of Rwanda. We also have a couple of football legends who I'm so excited to see here. We have Tony Adams, a true football great, who's here with us. And Louis van Gaal, who is one of the most decorated football managers as well, here today. We also have a Rwandan entrepreneur, a tour guide, and a proprietor of a hotel here in Kinigi, Mr. Robert Twibazi. Thank you, distinguished guests. Those are our namers, and as I said, we will be introducing them in a lot more detail later. They're all exciting people. They have done great work for conservation, and we are truly honored to have you here with us today. Thank you.
Murakoze cyane Louise. Nkuko tubyumvise dufite abashyitsi benshi batugendereye, sinasubiramo amazina yabo yose, ariko twavuga ko dufite abahoze ari abakuru b'ibihugu na guverinoma, dufite abahagarariye ibihugu ibyamamare bitandukanye byo mu mupira, abamamaye cyane ku isi yose mu bijyanye n'imideri, dufite abahanzi bakomeye baje kwifatanya natwe. Abo bose turabishimira cyane, reka nongere mbasabe tubahe amashyi y'urufaya. Murakoze cyane, reka noneho muri uyu mwanya nkuko nayimaze kubibabwira twakire itorero itsinda Mashirika. Mashirika, umwanya no wanyu.
Welcome to the misty mountains, where in this green forest, I have worked as a 15 years, nurturing, protecting, watching, and I've loved every bit of it. I do it for me, for our visitors, but above all, I do it for Mother Nature, the beautiful wildlife. So today, we celebrate them.
Ninhamnaga. He's a gentle giant. Virunga. Le grand roi des volcans. The king of the volcanoes. He walks slowly and softly.
The last 15 years have been a journey of progressive growth. Journey of education, reaching and including the community. Now, it's everyone. We all gathered here for the 15th time in a row, naming the new sign that
And I am thankful. No gorilla's habitat. To wake up every day, trekking in the wild, nurturing, protecting, and watching. See our efforts rewarded. Nature back at ease, and the faces of our bewildered guests as they too enjoy these beautiful animals. Growing together.
I am honored to the joy of looking at these majestic creatures, the joy of our visitors looking at you, that these amazing gorillas will be loved, will be valued, will be enjoyed for generations to come. And here, you have a great goal to protect it.
representing Hindi speaking countries. प्रकृति को संजोए रखना हमारा कर्तव्य है, ये हमारा, मैं उसको संरक्षण चुनता हूँ.
We represent German-speaking people. Die Natur ist mehr als ein Ort, den wir besuchen. Sie ist unser aller Heimat und es gilt, sie zu bewahren.
We represent the Dutch-speaking community. De natuur is niet alleen een plaats om te bezoeken. Het is ons thuis. Daarom kies ik voor behoud.
We represent the Chinese-speaking community. 大自然不只是一个值得参观的地方，这是我的家，所以我选择保护它。谢谢。
All Spanish-speaking people. La naturaleza no es solamente un lugar para visitar. Es mi hogar y por eso yo elijo la conservación.
tumwongera amashyi menshi cyane mashirika bonye birumvikana yuko katugaragara n'abanyarwanda kubungabunga ibidukikizima biba muri parike by'umwihariko muri parike y'ibirunga ingagi nizo za bihugu bitandukanye baje kwifa natwe twemera yuko iyo gahunda ari gahunda tureba ko ari ubufatanye ari kugira ngo tugomba gushyira hamwe kugira ngo gahunda nk'iyi ngiyi ishoye kugenda zitazazimira na gatoya.
Thank you very much, Rika, for that great cultural performance. That conservation is indeed a global priority. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to that part that I'm sure you have seen, which is the actual naming ceremony. And to help lead us into this very special and very uniquely Rwandan ceremony, it is Mr. Fred Swanika. Mr. Swanika is a great friend of Rwanda. He's the chairman of the Rwanda Convention Bureau, which is an organization that is tasked with promoting Rwanda as a premier meeting and conference destination. He's also the founder of the African Leadership University that aims to develop transformative leaders across the African continent. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a very warm welcome as he makes his way to the ceremony. You're very welcome, Mr. Swanika.
Twongere amashi uyu muvandimwe bwana Swanika uje ahagarariye abari bwite amazina abana b'ingagi. Mbibutse ko amashi mutanga angana n'imyaka musigaje ku isi mwamwongerera amashi.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Fred Swanika, an organization that aims to develop 3 million leaders for Africa by 2035. Although I come from Ghana, as was mentioned before, I'm a proud friend of Rwanda. And indeed, we have opened a university here called the African Leadership University. And as was mentioned, I'm also the chair of the Rwanda Convention Bureau. Now, in that capacity, my role is to promote Rwanda as a place to organize events and conferences. And I know there are many dignitaries and CEOs of organizations here, so I would be remiss in my role if I didn't encourage you to come and organize your next event here in Rwanda. You can see how organized the country is and how good the infrastructure and logistics are. So please come and organize an event here. 2 years ago, I had the privilege of naming a gorilla. And it was one of the most special experiences that I had ever had. But today I'm playing a different role. My role is to serve as leader of the namers, and specifically to share perspective about the significance of this ceremony. Now, in Rwandan culture, when babies are born, families invite their friends to come together to recommend names for their babies. And at the end of, after different family members friends have suggested names, the parents get to suggest their own name, and they have a choice of either choosing their name or choosing one of the names that was suggested by their friends. So it is the spirit of that ceremony which has been captured here, and has been that today is being applied to baby gorilla, and has become a true hallmark of conservation in Rwanda. It attracts every year dignitaries, CEOs of major organizations, conservationists, philanthropists, celebrities, influencers, leaders, legends, leaders in civil society, and so forth, to name a few. There's a lot of fanfare that happens. But ladies and gentlemen, today is just not about fanfare. Because one of the things that we talk about is that Rwanda is a remarkable country. You may have seen Remarkable Rwanda as the hashtag. And one of the things that I believe is most remarkable about Rwanda is the way Rwanda understands the linkage between conservation and communities. Rwanda has understood that for conservation to be successful, it must benefit communities. And as you heard earlier, 10% of every dollar that is raised from tourism related to conservation goes directly to the communities. And over 5 billion francs have been invested in community projects, schools, hospitals, and so many other things that benefit the community. And today we're seeing our baby gorillas are being born, the population of gorillas is growing. So today is a special celebration of that partnership, the unique partnership that exists between conservation and the communities. And I'd like you to join me in wishing all these babies that were born this year a very special happy birthday. And also let us join me in celebrating Rwanda's remarkable success as one of the most outstanding conservation success stories, not just in Africa, but in the entire world. I'd now like to call up the namers, who we all know have come from all over the world. It's a huge honor for Rwanda to have them at this celebration. But I'm sure, like it was for me, it's an even greater honor for all of you, the namers, to be able to participate in this very special ceremony and to name a baby gorilla. And I know that's something that you'll remember for the rest of your life. So, welcome.
arakoze cyane, tumwongera amashyi menshi cyane bwana Swanika, umunyagana ukunda no kwamamaza igihugu cyacu hose ku isi, ni umuntu dukunda cyane by'umwihariko cyo kwita izina, akavuga ngo bita izina batanu.
Reka uyu muhango
nukuri rwose tubaha amashyi menshi cyane. Ibyo byose babikora kunda gahunda rusange yo kubundetse n'ubuzima biba muri parike zayo muvandimwe. We're so happy to welcome you, sir. Thank you so much. N'abandi bashyitsi bose turabishimiye.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, please give them another round of applause. Don't they look absolutely wonderful? Almost royal. You look quite regal in your Rwandan attire. We thank you so much for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to now proceed into our naming ceremony, which we'll be doing in 5 parts. And in as much as we introduced them earlier, we kept a few surprises to ourselves. There are a few namers here that we did not let you know of and that you will be hearing because we had to save a little bit to ourselves. So I will introduce the first category of namers that we have here today. Our first namer is Jeremy Chauncey. Jeremy is the founder and CEO of Beautiful Destinations. He's a serial technology and media entrepreneur. His company, Beautiful Destinations, has built social media's largest tourism community, which, if I'm not mistaken, has over 20 million people following on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Weibo. He is also a passionate advocate for sustainable tourism. He advises the United Nations World Tourism Organization and is an ambassador for the World Wildlife Foundation. Our next namer is Madeline Nyiratuza. Madeline is a program specialist in the Sustainable Growth Unit at UNDP, and she's what I would call a Rwandan conservation champion. She was responsible for the conservation and restoration of the Gishwati Forest Reserve, which led to the creation of Gishwati Mukura National Park. Our third namer is Ambassador Ron Adam. He's the first ambassador of the State of Israel to Rwanda, which is a post that he has occupied since April 2009. He's been a career diplomat since 1990. And in the short time that the ambassador has been here, I think we've all seen that he has a very strong passion and commitment to partner with Rwanda in our development priorities. Thank you, Ambassador. The fourth namer that we have in this group is someone that I said, earlier can only be described as a legend. Millions of fans, myself included, in Africa, grew up watching him steer one of the greatest football clubs of all times in the best of times. He's none other than the great Tony Adams. Tony Adams captained both Arsenal and England's national teams. And if I may call you Mr. Arsenal, as you are fondly called by your fans, he was inducted into the English Football Hall of Fame, and he's considered one of the greatest Arsenal players of all times by the club's own fans. The final namer in this category is Niklas Adalbeth. He co-founded the unicorn payment startup Klarna in 2005. And 10 years later, he left this to become the deputy CEO. He left this to become the founder of the Norsken Foundation, which is a tech for good ecosystem for social impact that dares to tackle society's biggest challenges. Norsken currently houses more than 125 companies in Europe's largest impact hub. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to this group of namers, and I'll now hand over to Jeremy to start us off.
Dreams of people like the traveling to create economic benefit whilst giving back to the planet at a time when travel and conservation represent a universal language that can bring us together more powerful than any other force in the world. And it is my very great honor to introduce to you the first baby gorilla of 2019. Her name is Ngando. She comes from the Isimba family. Her mother is Izura and gave birth to her on the 23rd of September 2018. Now she, like everybody here, represents an opportunity for the future. She represents hope. She represents the chance for a better world if we embrace sustainable tourism and take the example that has been set here in Rwanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Next, we have Miss Madeline.
Murakoze nyakubahwa perezida wa Repubulika y'u Rwanda kumpa ijambo. Umwana w'ingagi ngiye kwita muri uyu mwanya avuka mu muryango w'amahoro. Nyina yitwa Mudahinyuka. Izina namuhitiyemo ni Isanzure. Bisobanura yuko ingagi dufite mu cyanya cy'ibirunga nta mupaka zifite. Ibyo bigaterwa nuko ku bufatanye bw'u Rwanda, Repubulika Iharanira Demokarasi ya Kongo na Uganda nk'ibihugu bihuriye ku cyanya cy'ibirunga aricyo ingagi zibamo, bigeze ku ntera ishimishije mu bikorwa byo gufatanya kubungabunga icyanya cy'ibirunga. Murakoze cyane.
Thank you. Next, we have Ambassador Ron Adams.
Your Excellency, President Paul, Muraho, Murakoze Chane Kubanga Ntu Miye. It is a great honor for me to be here today. Greetings from the people of Israel. We share a lot. Both our peoples, Jewish and Rwandans, had gone through similar painful history of genocide, but fortunately we rose beyond the tragedy, the ashes and darkness, and rebuilt our new nations. Rwanda's incredible journey of a visionary rebuilding under the leadership of President Kagame is an inspiration to us, to the African community, and to the whole world. I'm bringing a message of bond and peace on an unbreakable tie between our countries and peoples. And that is why I chose to name my baby gorilla a male, family Sabinho, born September 24th, mother Umurinzi. I decided to name the name Ijihango, which is a covenant. His nickname will be Berit, which is the Hebrew name of covenant. The word Berit is mentioned in the Bible 283 times. In connection to the Testament, the contract between humans and God, and the conciliation and peace among people, and the unwritten pact between human and nature. Ijihango represents the unbreakable bond between the gorillas and their guardians. That's a strong message for us all. The modern age covenant of conserving the fauna and the animal kingdom. Shalom, goodbye, umusi mweza.
Thank you, Ambassador. Next, we have Tony Adams.
Forgive me, not used to address. It's a bit tricky. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, people of Rwanda, it looks a bit like, I love the Arsenal shirts everywhere. This is great news. It reminds me of Highbury, of the East Stand and the West Stand. It's good to be here. I'm absolutely honoured and privileged to be here to name this on behalf of Arsenal Football Club. And you're doing some remarkable work here, guys. Fantastic work, conservation. I came here 5 years ago and it's just improved. And I loved trekking 8 hours up to see my baby gorilla yesterday. And he was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And he's probably right that Visit Rwanda, that I've named the gorilla. And I've been having nightmares about this name, but I'll try and get it right. It's Sure Rwanda. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. And our last name in this category is Nicholas Adalberth.
Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to be here and to have been selected as one of this year's gorilla namers. My foundation recently acquired the old property of the Belgian school in Kigali, and our aim is to transform it into East Africa's largest hub for entrepreneurship and impact. Today, I'm naming a baby gorilla Irembo, the gateway. And I cannot think of a more appropriate name as a symbol for our collaboration as we embark on this journey to create a gateway for Rwandan innovators to reach a global network and the innovators of the world to reach Rwanda. Many of the core challenges Rwanda and the region is facing, whether in environmental, agriculture, education, or employment sector, it will only be solved through innovation. We want solutions developed here in Rwanda to spread to the rest of the world. We want to ensure that entrepreneurs and innovators in Stockholm, London, and we look forward to embarking on this journey together, and I'm most grateful and humbled to receive this honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to our first group of namers. I'll now introduce our next set of namers. And to start us off, we will have one of Rwanda's most popular celebrities, Mehdi, who, yes, I can see the Rwandans here excited. He is R&B pop artist here in Rwanda. Our next namer in this group is Otara Gunawardene. She's a Sri Lankan business person and a philanthropist, and she's used her voice to challenge the boundaries of complacency and forging new ground for women, for entrepreneurship, and importantly, for animal welfare in Sri Lanka. She heads a foundation, the Otara Foundation, which has brought a lot of much-needed publicity to conservation and animal welfare. The foundation invests in reforestation, wildlife protection, and campaigns against animal mistreatment in captivity. Our next namer, who I mentioned earlier, is another football great, Mr. Louis van Gaal. He is a celebrated football manager who has served as manager at some of the world's greatest football clubs. You might have heard of Ajax, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and most recently, Manchester United. What you might not know is that Mr. Van Gaal is one of the most decorated managers in world football. He's won over 20 major honors in his managerial career, some of which you all know as the UEFA Champions League, the UEFA Cup, the Bundesliga, La Liga, and many more. In this group of namers, we are also extremely honored to have a true African statesman, the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, His Excellency Haile Mariam, who served as the Prime Minister of Ethiopia from 2012 to 2018. His term in office saw Ethiopia gain double-digit economic growth. And after leaving office, His Excellency co-founded, yes, that deserves a round of applause. After leaving office, His Excellency co-founded and is chairperson of Haile Mariam and Roman Foundation, which focuses on mother and child healthcare, the prevention of non-communicable diseases, nutrition, climate, smart ecotourism, and conservation. Your Excellency, we are very honored to have you here today. Our final namer in this category is Ronan Donovan. Ronan is a biologist turned photographer and filmmaker, and his camera has taken him to all 7 continents in search of the most elusive wildlife stories about our natural world. His photographic journeys for National Geographic magazine include some very exciting and unique experiences, such as staying an entire year inside the Yellowstone National Park, documenting the life of wild wolves. He's also covered the human-wildlife conflict between chimpanzees and humans, and he's hiked the volcanoes to photograph our majestic mountain gorillas. He's a truly gifted photographer whose images have hung on the walls of the National History Museum in London and the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History in Washington. I'll now hand over to Mehdi to take us through this session of naming.
Mbanje kubasuhuza mwese. Umwana akomoka mu muryango wa musirikari. Umubyeyi witwa Izihirwa. Nkaba nahisemo kumwita inkoramutima. Murakoze cyane.
Thank you, Mehdi. Next we have Otara.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great privilege. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be a part of conservation here in Rwanda and also globally. I congratulate the government of conservation work you do. It's truly impressive. My baby gorilla, Kira. It's actually named after my 2 sons, Kiran and Rakil, and it happens in your language.
Your Excellency, and the wonderful people of Rwanda, we won in 1994, 1995 with Ajax Amsterdam, the Champions League and the World Cup. And at the same time, I could see on the Dutch television what was happening in Rwanda. Terrible. But now I have seen the change of behavior, of human behavior. And human behavior in a social and economical way. And as a coach, I know it is very difficult to exert influence in human being habits, behavior. You did it. And that's why I chose the name Indongozi. Also honor and thank the President of Rwanda, Kagame, for his leadership in this process for human behavior change. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have His Excellency Haile Mariam to name his baby. Thank you.
Dear Rwandans, you are remarkable. You are teaching us Africans how to live harmoniously, nature and human beings, to resolve the conflict between humans and the wildlife. I decided to name my baby gorilla Umukuru, which is after the legendary elephant in Rwanda who died by the death where my baby was born. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Next, we have Ronan Donovan.
Mirakoze, Mugira, Maraho. My name is Ronan Donovan, and I'm a photographer. And this name for this baby gorilla was chosen during a campaign with Visit Rwanda and National Geographic, of National Geographic's social media experts. And it was chosen because of Rwanda's endangered species and the mountain gorillas. Thank you all very much. Mirakoze Chani.
Thank you very much, Ronan, and thank you to this group of namers. Namers will be honored to start off with Her Royal Highness, Princess Basma bint Ali. Her Royal Highness is a very passionate advocate of biodiversity conservation and sustainable agriculture in her home country, Jordan. She's also the founder of many non-government environmental organizations, such as the Royal Botanic Garden of Jordan and the Royal Marine Conservation of Jordan. Our next namer, who I mentioned earlier, has a very compelling story. And for many of us who've had the court, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I feel that this young man really personifies the response to that challenge. And this is Emmanuel Niringi-Man. He's a young Rwandan who, our communities here recognize him. He's a young Rwandan who single-handedly cleared and built a 7-kilometer road in his community to address a challenge that he saw, to help facilitate movement of people and goods in his village. I think he truly deserves a round of applause. Thank you. Our next namers in this group, thank you. Our next namers in this group will be a duo of Mr. Luke Bells and Paul Milton. Paul Milton is the founder of KWITA Lodge on behalf of investors Mr. Paul Tudor Johns and Mr. Anders Paulsen. He himself is a conservationist and has been working in Rwanda for the past 5 years. Luke Bells is the founder and executive chairman of Singita, and he also has been a pioneer in tourism conservation on the continent. Singita's model, for those of you who have had the privilege of seeing it, combines luxury eco-friendly lodges with conservation projects across Africa, in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, and in August this year, we're extremely fortunate to have Singita Oppelman. It is now my pleasure to hand over to the first namer in this category. Your Royal Highness, you're very welcome.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد سيد المرسلين. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, distinguished guests, Maraho, it is my utmost honor and privilege to be selected to be a namer, as I would like to draw upon my religion here and say that we have been regarded as the custodians of the earth. And what better occasion can it be than to enrich this role as a namer of one of the most wonderful creatures on earth. So I have chosen for this, my baby gorilla, the name of Uheriwi. I think I pronounced it wrong, but it means the lucky one. And in Arabic, it says al-mahdhud. And it is lucky because it's lucky to be born in Rwanda here to protect these wonderful creatures from the earth. So I thank you.
Murakoze, nitwa Niringiyimana Emmanuel, nkomoka mu murenge wa Murambi, akarere ka Karongi. Nkaba nishimiye rero kuza kwita umwana w'ingagi. Uwo mwana w'ingagi umwana w'ingagi yitwa Mugwire. Umwana w'ingagi bamwita Nibagwire, Nimugwire mu Rwanda.
Koze Emmanuel, mumuhamashi rwose uyu mwana yakoze ibitangaza. Next we have Luke and Paul.
Is it live? Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. We are hoping this is the first duo at a gorilla naming ceremony. His Excellency President Paul Kagame, Claire Amakazi, the CEO of the Rwanda Development Board, the Volcanoes National Park team led by Chief Warden Prosper, dignitaries, guests, and all other protocols observed. We're delighted to be back in Rwanda. We're humbled and honored to be with you today, celebrating this extraordinary concert. To further support conservation in Rwanda, Singita Kwitonda was the realization of a 5-year journey which concluded with the lodge opening last month, 4 or 5 kilometers from where we're standing here today.
Our commitment to gorilla conservation and attracting tourism to Rwanda is the reason we built the lodge. We fully support and admire the work of the government of Rwanda, the RDB, and the team here at Volcanoes National Park, who are our new neighbors. And we are so impressed with what the government has done to attract tourists to this country. The whole of Africa can learn from you. Congratulations to all involved in today's event, and we look forward to a long and fruitful partnership with Rwanda.
We chose to, well, the family of our gorilla is called Pablo, and the mother of our gorilla is called Gutangara, and she was born on the 25th of April, 2019.
And the name is Inrara Boina.
Thank you. Thank you very much to this round of namers. It is now my pleasure again to introduce our next category of namers. We're very joining of the Commonwealth, Patricia Scott-Gorilla, with Dame Louise Martin, who is a career supermodel who started her modeling career at the age of 15. And I think those of you who remember, she was one of the 6 models who pioneered the iconic supermodel generation. She is also extremely fortunate to be one of the, if not the only person in the world who is the honorary granddaughter of the beloved Madiba Nelson Mandela. Our next namer in this group, I did introduce earlier, is another young Rwandan, very known and admired by many of his peers, Joseph Areruya. He is one of Rwanda's great sportsmen, actually probably has the most titles of any Rwandan cyclist. In 2017, he won the Tour de Rwanda. In 2018, he also won the first edition of Tour de l'Espoir in Cameroon, and he was voted the best African rider of the year 2018. Thank you. Our next namer in this group is Mr. Marco Lambertini. He is the Director General of the Worldwide Fund for Nature. And as the Director General, he leads a global network with almost 60 years of environmental conservation success. 5 million supporters, 30 million followers on social media, annually in over 100. He has held a deep fascination and a love for all forms of life when he volunteered for the WWF in his native Italy when he was only 12 years old. Our final namer has the rhythm of dance in her blood. She's none other than Sherry Silva. Sherry is a Rwandan actress who featured in the Africa United movie, probably best known for his iconic song and video, This Is America. United Nations actually won MTV VMA Award for Best Video. She is now the United Nations IFAD advocate for rural youth and runs a charity called Wall Rebuilders, giving back to communities throughout Rwanda and the rest of Africa. It is now my pleasure to hand over to Dame Louise and Secretary General Patricia Scotland to kick us off for this session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honour and a privilege for me to be asked to name a baby gorilla on behalf of my colleagues in the Commonwealth Games Federation. I chose Uruti as I wanted to recognise the everyday heroes, the volunteers, the conservation workers, the politicians, and all to the success of gorilla protection in Rwanda. I think of ordinary people, people who make a difference in the world, Commonwealth sport, and the commitment and achievement of our athletes. They do not seek fame. They simply want to be the best that they can be and make their families, their teams, and their countries proud. And you have many such athletes here in Rwanda. Heroes walk amongst us, just like Uruti will, free here in these mountains. Thank you.
It's my great privilege and pleasure to once again be part of a duo of Dame Louise and myself representing the Commonwealth. We have been called partners in crime. So I am delighted that we are able to come together to honor what has been done in Rwanda to bring peace, to bring harmony, and to preserve. The Commonwealth is represented by 53 countries, 2.4 billion people, 30% of whom are under the age of 30. And Rwanda, the youngest member of the Commonwealth, will host the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting next year in June. And we look forward to the peace that Rwanda has emanated to spread throughout the whole Commonwealth. And that is why the second is Nazirian. Nazirian is a name that was given to me by Kenyans, and it means the one who loves and initiates peace among the community. We hope our gorilla will be the peaceful one and will bring love and harmony to the gorilla community.
Very much, Secretary General Dame Louise. Next, we have the lovely Naomi Campbell.
Your Excellency, President Kagame, distinguished guest, and the people of Rwanda here today, is who would we be? They carry us, they nurture us, and they want us to be the best that we can be to our abilities. And this is why today I chose for my baby gorilla. Her name is from the family of Moza. Her mother's name is Twitaru. She was born on December 13th, December 18, and her name will be Inarutu. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alleluia. Nganya nuwanyu. Joseph, alleluia. Nganya nuwanyu. Murakoze.
Muraho. Amazina yanjye nitwa Alleluia Joseph. Nkaba baje kwita amazina abana b'ingagi. Ndangaha nita umwana w'ingagi akaba akomoka ku mubyeyi witwa Imbere. Yavutse ku itariki 14 z'ukwezi kwa 10 2018. Nkaba nahisemo kumwita izina Inganji. Amahoro aganze, murakoze.
Thank you. Next, we have Sherry Silva.
Your Excellency, people of Rwanda, the name I've chosen for my baby boy mountain gorilla is Ikilenga. It means, as you know, exceptional. And he was, I think, exceptionally lucky to be born in an exceptional country with exceptional leaders, exceptional people that respect him, that respect his forest, because you know it's your moral duty to do so, but also because you value the rain that the forests bring, the water that the forests regulate, the income that gorilla and the forest bring to the local economy. This is hope for the rest of the world to embrace a new relationship with the planet, a new deal for nature and people that bring harmony between our development and the existence of nature. So, Ikelenga, best of luck, my boy, but you are very lucky to be born in Rwanda.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lambertini. Finally, we have Sherry Silva.
Your Excellency, President Kagame, and decided to be here today as a proud Rwandan. Yesterday, I dragged my mother up a mountain to come and see the cutest baby gorilla with me. And I was just so impressed with how Rwanda is looking after the gorillas and not tampering their habitats for the sake of tourism, but actually maintaining a relationship between the local farmers and the gorillas. And I would like to name my gorilla Ibirori, which means celebrate. And for me, it's my job to make sure that the world celebrates Rwanda and Africa through the power of dance and entertainment, and also helping young youths in Africa realize their full potential. And I just want to personally thank Your Excellency, President Kagame, for supporting me when I did my first movie, Africa United, which was partly filmed in Rwanda. Thank you.
Anthony Nzuchi, a ranger in the Volcanoes National Park. He has served with dedication as a ranger for over 15 years in the Volcanoes National Park. And he won an Africa Ranger Award from the Jack Ma Foundation. We honor the rangers today. In this category will be Dr. Wilfred Kiboro. He's the chairman of the Nation Media Group, where he has previously served as the group chief executive officer for 13 years until 2006. Our next namer is also another ranger, Jean Nepomucene Musekura. He's here again representing his peers with whom he serves at the Volcanoes National Park. And he's one of the 3 rangers that have won a namer in this session, none other than Ambassador Amina Mohammed, who is the current Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. Prior to this, she was the Minister of Environment in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and she truly steered the country's efforts towards protecting the natural environment and conserving resources for sustainable development. Our next namer in this session will be His Excellency Karen Chaila, who is Ambassador of the Russian Federation to the Republic of Rwanda, which is one of our fastest growing tourism markets. Our next namer in this session will be Robert Twibaze. He is a tour guide, one of the exceptional tour guides in the industry. He has a passion. He's the proprietor of 5 Volcanoes, which is right here in Kinigi. In this session is someone who I'm sure today just award winner, actor, dancer. I wonder if there is anything you don't do. He is none other than Neo. Tony Nzuki, umwanya nuwanyu kudutangiza muri uyu muhango.
Murakoze. Nitwa Nzuki Anton. Nshimishijwe n'uyu mwanya wo kuza kwita izina umwana w'ingagi. Murakoze. Umwana w'ingagi ndi bwite ukomoka mu muryango witwa Kureba. Nyina ikaba yitwa Akamaro. Umwana ndi bwite yitwa Karame. Murakoze.
Your Excellency, the President Paul Kagame of Rwanda,
people of Rwanda, distinguished guests. My name is Kiboro. I come from Kenya, and I bring greetings from the people of Kenya. I feel very privileged and humbled to have been chosen to come and name baby gorillas. I know it has a huge parental responsibility, which I planned to carry out very judiciously and very faithfully. So I'll be following the trend and the life of my baby gorilla as time goes by. And I hope my fellow namers will also be doing the same. My baby comes from the family of Sabino. The mother is Umutungo, and she was born on 1st of July, which means stability. And in Swahili, it means also take care of it. Your Excellency, we need stability in our lives. We need stability in our families. We need stability in the country. We need stability on the continent. And we also need stability across the world. The other meaning of the Ituze, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of each other. We need to take care of our children, our families, our continent, our ecosystem, the whole lot. So I think the name of my baby gorilla, Ituze, is very, very appropriate. And I hope around the people around the world, we will all take care of each other as we'll take care of our environment and particularly the mountain gorillas. I thank you so much.
Dr. Wilford, Jeanne Pomusen, umwanya ni uwanyu.
Murakoze, nitwa Musekura Jeanne Pomuseni, nkaba n'umukozi wa parike y'Ibirunga. Umwana w'ingagi ngiye kwita uvuka mu muryango witwa Ntambara. Nyine ikaba yitwa Kurinda. Uwo mwana ukaba waravutse tariki 12 z'ukwa munane 2018. Nkaba mwise Bisoke. Murakoze.
Murakoze cyane. Ladies and gentlemen, Murakoze. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ambassador Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations.
Excellencies, the people of Rwanda, ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to be invited to name a baby gorilla today. President Kagame, you are an exemplary leader. As we look around at the hills here and we see the rainforests, we see conservation taking root. And in that conservation that is taking root, so too is sustainable development, and so too are the aspirations of your people. And that is something to be honored. And so I'm proud to be here to choose a name for a baby gorilla from the family of Umubanu. And the name that I chose was Ngoga, courage. And I chose courage because today the world needs courage. It needs courage in its leaders to lead from the front, to have the courage of their convictions, to do the right thing by their people, by our environment, so that we all may have a better and more peaceful world. And I pray that our Ngoga will be a sample to this. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Next, we have His Excellency Karen Chaila, Ambassador of the Russian Federation.
Mr. President, dear friends, you know, I come from a very big country which has impenetrable forests, very wide and deep rivers and lakes, and literally millions of species of animals. But the only problem is that my country does not have gorillas. And I have never seen one in my life, so after over 40 years of diplomatic service, whatever forces that govern our lives decided that I was a good boy and sent me over to this wonderful country. Mr. President, dear friends, I come from a place that has always stood shoulder to shoulder with Africa, both in the days of the Soviet Union and now. And I'm sure that this will continue. We work very well together, and there are no limits to what we can achieve. I've decided to name my gorilla Umvihariku. And I hope that my baby leads a charmed existence and has the best eucalyptus in the forest always. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Next, we have Robert Twibas.
Your Excellency and the distinguished guests and RDB, we as safari guides or tourist guides, we feel honored to be part of this event today. On behalf of my colleagues, we are very, very happy to be part of this today. We have been dealing with guests for many years. We have been here bringing people attending this event, and today we all feel honored to be part of this. The baby gorilla I'm about to name, on behalf of my colleagues, we couldn't all stand here, but we picked a name called Inzobere. The family is Agasha, and the mother is Ahazaza. The date of birth was 30th August, 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And now our final namer for our ceremony today, Neil.
What's going on, everybody? Giving much honor, love, and respect to Your Excellency and my fellow namers and all of the beautiful people of Rwanda. This is my first time here. First time here, definitely not my last. Since I got here, all I've been hearing about is all the great things that have been happening here in Rwanda. So I feel like it's only right that I named my baby gorilla Birasiaza. I think I said that right. Birasiaza. Yes. Is that right? Yes? Birakiaza. There we go. Birakiaza. I said it wrong. Sorry. Which translates to great things are yet to come. And I think that pretty much speaks for itself. So thank you very much.
Your Excellency, distinguished guests, with that we have come to the close of this same naming ceremony. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause to our namers for honoring us until full ceremony. Thank you all very much. Let us give them a warm round of applause as they are escorted back to their seats. Thank you once again. Thank you, distinguished namers.
Bakoze cyane mu gihe barimo gusubira mu byicaro byabo, reka mu ncamake mbabwire yuko bose bakomeje gushimangira kwishimira ndetse na cyane ibyo guverinoma y'u Rwanda ndetse n'abanyarwanda bose, abanyarwanda twese ibyo twagezeho n'ibyo twakoze dushyira imbere gahunda yo kubungabunga ibidukikije ndetse banatwizeza bose yuko atari wo munsi wa nyuma baje kwifatanya natwe. Ubu rero turishimye cyane, asabe tubongera tuzi ko hari aho bigera yo mutumva ibyo abashyitsi baba barimo kuvuga kugira ngo tushobore kujyana gahunda yacu neza, kuba mwakomeje kutuza kwitonda mugafata umwanya wo kubaha icyo cyubahiro, ndagira ngo namwe banyarwanda mwiha amashyi menshi cyane. Muri uyu mwanya rero, mu gihe abashyitsi bacu bari gusubira mu byicaro byabo, turagira ngo dukurikire ijambo ry'umuyobozi mukuru w'ikigo gishinzwe iterambere mu Rwanda, uwo ni Claire Akamanzi. Tumuhe amashyi menshi cyane yo kumwakira. We are now going to follow the remarks of the CEO of RDB, Ms. Claire Akamanzi.
Thank you very much. Of the Republic of Rwanda, Your Excellency Haile Mariam Desalegn, former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Deputy Secretary General, United Nations, members of the diplomatic corps, afternoon, mwiriwe neza. Today is a history and one we are glad to share with so many friends from all over the world. Murakaza neza, welcome. Who express my deep gratitude, your unwavering commitment to harnessing the power of conservation for our country's development is truly an inspiration. 15 years ago, when the President and the First Lady officially named baby gorillas for the very first time, we could not have imagined that IZINA would become an event celebrating not only mountain gorillas, but conservation efforts here in Rwanda, but also the world over. And by the way, Mr. President, I'm very pleased to report that the twin babies that you named have behaved very well since. They're very responsible citizens of the Volcanoes National Park. They've come of age, and in fact, one of them has had children. That makes you, Mr. President, a grandfather. Today, IZINA forms a part of an ambitious strategy to preserve our natural heritage and further expand the role of tourism in our country's transformation. We have set the lofty target of doubling tourism revenues to $800 million over the next 5 years. Achieving this vision that we have set for ourselves requires thinking big and acting even bolder. That's why Rwanda is investing heavily in a range of foundational drivers of conservation, tourism and community development, from research and partnerships to training, promotion, quality assurance, and infrastructure development. With this in mind, it's appropriate that we are celebrating here at the foothills of the Volcanoes National Park, an area that is one of the most ecologically significant ecosystems in the world. Working with our valued research partners, vets, dedicated conservationists, we are protecting and enhancing Volcanoes National Park, as well as other protected areas across the country. We're especially excited about the upcoming Ellen DeGeneres campus of the DIAN for funding our work. The campus will inspire visitors, scientists, students, community members to become champions of gorilla conservation. We cannot wait for the campus to open its doors in 2 years' time. Our focus on protecting our environment and diverse species is driven by an understanding that this natural heritage is one of our greatest assets and attracts visitors from all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look back to where we were 15 years ago when we first named the first baby gorilla and where we are today, there is no doubt that good progress is being made. For example, on gorillas, in 2003, we only had 380 mountain gorillas in the Virunga Massif. Today, we have 604. On visitation, Rwanda arrivals and visits by air and road were only about 500,000 in 2006. Today, in 2018, we received 1.7 million visitors in our territory. Flights to Rwanda, both international and domestic, increased from just 6,600 in 2006 to about 25,000 in 2018. When it comes to events and conference tourism, there was hardly any. In 2000, 39,000 participants that came to Rwanda for meetings and events, bringing in $55 million by the year 2018. Also making Rwanda the second country in Africa that attracted the most conferences and events after South Africa. And for accommodation, 10 years ago, we only had just over 4,000 rooms. In 2018, that room had, and in addition to some of the world-class lodges like Marriott, Serena, Radisson Blu, among others, we also have seen luxury lodges like Singita, Bisate, Amakoro, Magashi, Five Volcanoes, also coming within this area. And now, to conclude, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I want to extend special words of thanks. First, to our guests who have bestowed a name on one of the baby gorillas today. Thank you. Thank you for being with us, for your friendship, and for being champions of conservation. Your presence today ensures that the KWITA are well protected. In fact, Mr. President, over 65 rangers and staff of the Volcanoes National Park have worked for the national park since for 15 years, for more than 15 years, and so they've been very loyal to this national park as part of their lives. Rugendo yariyongereye bityo n'ubushobozi bw'igihugu mu kurushaho kwiteza imbere buriyongera. Ibi byose twabigezeho kubera uruhare rwanyu nk'abaturage hamwe n'abandi bafatanyabikorwa. Nagira ngo nongere mbashimire mbikuye ku mutima. Ahasigaye dukomeze umurava, dufatanye kubungabunga park z'igihugu n'umutungo dusangiye twese, ni twese bizagirira akamaro. Ibyagezweho ni byinshi kandi birigaragaza. Murakoze cyane.
tumwongerere amashyi menshi cyane umuyobozi mukuru w'ikigo cy'igihugu gishinzwe iterambere amashyi yanyu menshi cyane tumushimire murakoze cyane muri uyu mwanya rero mbere yuko dusaba umushyitsi wacu mukuru kugira icyo atugezaho kugira ijambo rya mukuru atubwira reka tugarure morale ho gato siko bimeze najyanga abaturage twese ufite ibendera hano gato ngiye kugenda mbabwira ibintu bitandukanye muransubiza muti oye 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 siko bimeze niko bimeze u Rwanda oye kwita izina oye kubungabunga ibidukikije oye kurinda ubuzima bw'ingagi oye umushyitsi wacu mukuru oye murakoze cyane ndagira ngo muri uyu mwanya mubinyemereye nyakubahwa perezida wa Repubulika y'u Rwanda Paul Kagame mwatugezaho koze
muraho mwese meze neza ab'inyuma hariya turumvikana inyuma cyane ntabwo ndabumva ntabwo turi kumwe ntabwo ndi butangire mutanyemereye ko twumvikana neza mwebwe nabumvise ariko hariya ntabwo ndabumva n'ubu mu kanya nahoze ngira ngo bavuze ngo dushyireho morali ngira ngo bagiye gushyiraho indirimbo hanyuma sinzi uko byagenze wadushyireho akaririmbo gake abantu bagakanguka hanyuma
Itajengwa na nani vijana,
itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Kigali itajengwa na nani vijana,
itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Gasabo itajengwa na nani vijana,
itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Nyarugenge na Kicukiro patajengwa na
sisi wenyewe.
Bugesera itajengwa na nani vijana,
itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Kirehe na Ngoma patajengwa na nani,
itajengwa
na sisi wenyewe, na sisi wenyewe, na sisi wenyewe. Gatsibo na Kayonza patajengwa na nani,
itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Wamagana na Nyagatare patajengwa na nani,
itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Gakenke na Gicumbi patajengwa na nani,
itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Musanze na Burera patajengwa na nani,
itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Oh, Gisagara na Huye patajengwa na nani,
reka banze inshimire cyane abashyitsi baje kwifatanya natwe. Mpereye kuri Haile Mariam Desalegn, nubwo baba babwiye ndashaka kubasubiramo nkabashimira ubwanjye. Hari na UNDSG Amina Mohammed, Her Highness Princess Basma bint Ali, Dame Louise Martin, Right Honorable Patricia Scotland, Tony Adams, Ambassador Ron Adams, Nicholas Adalbert, Jeremy Onsi, Otara Gunolden, Ronan Donovan, Louise Vangar, Naomi Campbell, Madeleine Nyiratuza, Sherry Silva, Marco Lambati, Medi, Twibaze, Emmanuel Nikingimana, Leonidas Mhumuje, Jean Pomsen, Musekura, Anthony Nzuki, Luke Biles, Paul Middleton, of course, Fred Swanika ntabwo ari umushyitsi n'umwe muri twebwe nubwo yababwiye ko avagana. Nagira ngo mbashimire bose abashyitsi kandi mumfashe kubashimire ko baje kwifatanya nawe. Ndi buhina amagambo kandi ndagira ngo uri buze kuvuga nyuma aramfasha gusemura muri make, ndaza cyangwa se kuvanga indimi aho bibaye ngombwa. Mbere na mbere nanone ndashimira abaturage mwese bamusanze n'abavuye ahandi, mwakoze cyane kandi abaturage ndabashimira ko mwifata neza, mufata neza n'ibidukikije. Nubwo byavuzwe ko twese tubifitemo inyungu, hari rimwe na rimwe ubwo abantu batamenya ibyo bafitemo inyungu, bityo bikabapfana ubusa, ariko abaturage ba Musanze ndabashimira cyane. In addition to that, as this big day was for naming baby gorillas, I had an opportunity myself 15 years ago to name not just one, but twin baby gorillas. And as you've heard, I wasn't a bad parent. I looked after them very well. I paid school fees and in time. And I made sure there was a possibility of communicating with them. We have internet around this area and Wi-Fi, and we've been in communication. We've been, and one of those children or grandchildren has become an important leader in the family, a silverback. One of them is a silverback. the name of that silverback is Byishimo. So it is a very happy silverback. But the success stories we've heard from the head of Rwanda Development Board could not have happened without the cooperation, the understanding, the support of the local communities whom I have had the opportunity to express our thanks to, and also made sure that they benefit from this good cooperation they have displayed over many years that has benefited the gorillas, the country, and also the many visitors and tourists who have enjoyed being here and enjoyed the security because of this cooperation. I do not need to go back into details about the importance of conservation and we live in that has benefit conservationists from partners across the world, because the benefits of all that has explained that importance. We've mentioned how we give 10% of the total revenues collected from this area to the local communities. This has been very helpful in advancing our cause of conservation as well as development. So, distinguished friends of our country and visitors and tourists, we thank you for making your own contributions towards this as we enjoy what our country has had to provide. It's in the same spirit that we also work with other countries, our neighboring countries, mainly DRC, Uganda, because there is a lot we share around this area and what lives in this area. So we can only ask our citizens to continue to play a very good role in making sure that we see more developments, not only in their own community areas, but also in the park where the gorillas live. Abanyarwanda mwese muri hano bamusanze n'abandi batashoboye kuza hano, ibyo navugaga ni ukubashimira kandi ni ukubabwira ko ibyo mukora twifuza ko bibagaragarira ko bifite inyungu kuri mwe. Niyo mpamvu twashyizeho umugabane w'10% y'ibiboneka hano muri iyi park kugira ngo bigaruke muri mwebwe, bibateza imbere bifashe guteza imbere igihugu cyacu hanyuma dukomeze dukorere hamwe dufatanye ndetse turusheho kubona ibiva amafaranga ava muri iyi parike y'ibirunga ndagira ngo rero dukomereze aho dufatanye nashimiraga n'abashyitsi bifatanije natwe bavuye kure n'abandi bazakomeza kuza kubera ko bamenya ko abaturage b'u Rwanda abaturiye ibirunga bifata neza bafata neza ingagi baturanye nazo kubera ko tuzivanamo ibishobora kuduteza imbere ndagira ngo rero niturushaho gufatanya no kwifata neza bizakomeza kuzana inshuti nyinshi abadusura benshi n'inyungu nyinshi ku gihugu ariko no kuri mwebwe ubwanyu mu miryango ituye hafi hano muturanye na parike y'ibirunga ndashimira Rwanda Development Board ndetse n'abakora muri iyi parike babivuze batweretse hari abandi batari hano baba bari ku kazi buri gihe ariko ku mwihariko abarinda iyi parike abayikoramo hanyuma na RDB ibikurikirana kuri buri munsi nagira ngo bashimire akazi keza mukora dukomereze aho dufatanye dukore byinshi niko bikwiye nicyo u Rwanda rwifuza kandi bimaze kuboneka ko hari uwabivuze kare ko ibyinshi byiza biri imbere bityo rero dukomeze tubisatire bitugeraho uko turusha gukora neza ndabashimiye ndabagira ngo mugire umunsi mwiza n'ibihe byiza biri imbere dukomeze ubufatanye murakoze cyane
Remarks. Thank you, Your Excellency. You gave me the difficult task of letting our guests here know what it is that you, the message that you relate to them. Please be seated. Thank you. His Excellency individually and personally thanked each and every single namer that made it here today and that honored us with your time. We thank you very much. He also thanked all our guests who have traveled from all over the world to be here with us for this important ceremony. He thanked our communities who indeed have been the custodians of conservation and asked them to continue the good work because it brings not only development and improvement in their lives, but also development to the country at large. And he particularly thanked those who we often forget to thank and appreciate, who are those that work on a day-to-day basis in the park, making sure that they are conserving the habitat of the mountain gorillas. Your Excellency, it has been said by almost everyone who has come up here that you're such an unwavering champion of conservation, and we thank you truly for that, Your Excellency. I think you have truly shown that economic development must not come at the expense of conservation. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we have come to the end of the official part of this ceremony, but we still have a lot of celebration. We're going to continue together with our communities celebrating this great conservation success today. And before His Excellency leaves, he has been gracious to offer a group photo session with our namers who are here today. This is a great memory for every one of you who are here today. And also some of our international guests that have traveled. So as we continue to celebrate, we will just remain in our seats until this photo session is over. Protocol will lead you and guide you in this session. Thank you. Over to you, Manzi.
murakoze cyane reka tubasabe mwongere muha amashyi menshi cyane nyakubahwa perezida wa repubulika y'u Rwanda tumushimire cyane kuba yaje kwifatanya natwe kuri inshuro ya 15 twizihiza kwita izina reka noneho mu gusoza dusozanye na morale nanone ku buhanga bw'ibyuma mudutegurire izo ndirimbo. Reka mbasa, if I can please ask you all to please rise up and let's for one last time enjoy this music as we go and enjoy of course the photo session. Aho ngaho rwose tujyane muri morale. Wa parike ndetse no kubungabunga ubuzima bw'ingagi nibo tugiye kwifatanya muri iyi foto y'urwibutso. Yangabo muri protocol bari budufashe bafasha abashyitsi bacu kugana baberekere aho bari buhagarare kugira ngo bafate iyi foto y'urwibutso. Mu gihe barimo gufata iyo foto ariko ntibuza ko twakomereza muri morale gusa, twasaba gusa ko volume twayigabanya gatoya. Murakoze cyane. Abo muri protocol ubwo babidufashamo kugira ngo umushyitsi wacu mukuru ndetse n'abandi bashyitsi baje kwifatanya natwe tuberekere aho turi bufate iyi foto y'urwibutso. Reka nongere mbasabe banyarwanda, nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika tumuha amashyi menshi cyane, n'aba bashyitsi bacu bahire baje kwifatanya natwe ni ibintu bya for joining of KWITA IZINA 15. Murakoze cyane. Bamwe muri aba bavandimwe zacu babaye muri uyu mwuga imyaka irenda 15, turabashimira cyane. Akazi bakora ni akazi k'agaciro kanini cyane ku banyarwanda bose, by'umwihariko ku baturage baturiye parike. Turacyakomeza kubashimira mwese rwose kuba mwaje kwifatanya natwe twe ya 15. Umukuru w'igihugu akaba yerekeje aho abashyitsi bacu mpuzamahanga aho bahagaze. Abashyitsi dukomeza gushimira cyane kuba baje kwifatanya natwe. dukomeje gufata ifoto y'urwibutso abashyitsi bacu bifotozanya n'umukuru w'igihugu cyacu bamushimira cyane kubwo gufata iya mbere ashyira muri gahunda za leta muri gahunda za guverinoma kubungabunga ibidukikije kurinda ubuzima bw'ibinyabuzima biba muri parike by'umwihariko ingagi. Inshuti z'u Rwanda gusura u Rwanda, visit u Rwanda aricyo kibivuga, basura u Rwanda banubone ibyiza n'uruhare mu hejo hazaza duteganya, dufatanye urunana kugira ngo tuhagere vuba kandi neza. Ubuhanga bw'ibyuma mwatugabanyiriza umuziki gato kugira ngo tubashe kumvikana, ugabanye n'ukuremo. Urakoze cyane. Iyi gahunda yo gufata ifoto hamwe n'umukuru w'igihugu na hangaha dusoreje igikorwa cy'uyu munsi cyano mu Kinigi, igikorwa cyo kwita izina abana b'ingagi. Igikorwa cyagenze neza cyane, Louise.
Yes, thank you very much, distinguished guests. And thank you very much, Your Excellency, for honoring our rangers, namers, and international guests.
Murimo murabikurikira rero haba gikomeje kubana natwe kuri televiziyo y'u Rwanda. Iyo ni ifoto y'urwibutso nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika Paul Kagame amaze gufatana n'abashyitsi baje kwifatanya n'u Rwanda ndetse n'abanyarwanda by'umwihariko n'abaturage b'aka karere ka Musanze muri uyu murenge wa Kinigi kwita abana b'ingagi 25 ni ku nshuro ya 15 rero uyu muhango ubaye. Ngira ngo mwabibonye ku muhango n'ibyamamare bitandukanye byatanze amazina atandukanye. Mu kanya nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika Paul Kagame amaze no kubashimira abise amazina ni benshi, ariko bamwe muri bo harimo Paul Milton washinze Hotel Singita Kwitonda Lodge, hakabamo Haile Mariam de Salem yahoze ari minisitiri w'intebe wa Ethiopia, ahari kandi Amina Mohamed yahoze ari minisitiri w'ibidukikije mu gihugu cya Nigeria, ubu ni umunyamabanga wungirije wa Loni. Hari Naomi Campbell n'umukinnyi wa filime mu Bwongereza. Nkuko rero muri kubibona ku mashusho nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika Paul Kagame arimo arasezera abaturage, arimo arasezera abanyarwanda baje kwitabira uyu muhango, by'umwihariko akaba ari abaturage baturiye uyu murenge wa Kinigi. Hari imirenge itandukanye ikikije cyangwa se iyi parike y'ibirunga, harimo umurenge wa Kinigi, harimo uwa Muhoza n'iyindi itandukanye. Nababwiraga rero bamwe mu bashyitsi baje kwifatanya n'abanyarwanda kwita abana b'ingagi amazina. Nababwiraga ko harimo Paul Milton washinze Hotel Singita Kwitonda Lodge, harimo Haile Mariam de Salem yahoze ari minisitiri wa Ethiopia, hakaba Amina Mohamed akaba yarahoze ari minisitiri w'ibidukikije mu gihugu cy'Ubwongereza, akaba umucuruzi ndetse n'umunyamideli. Hari Tony Adams yahoze akina mu ikipe y'igihugu y'Ubwongereza, yakiniye kandi ikipe ya Arsenal. Hari Louis van Gaal umuholandi watoje amakipe akomeye arimo Barcelona, Manchester, akaba afite kandi igikombe cya Champions League. Hari Neyo ni umukinnyi wa filime akaba n'umuririmbyi uzwi ku isi yose, twavuga ko ari ku rwego mpuzamahanga. Hakaba rero Emmanuel Niringiyimana
wakoze ni urubyiruko ni umwana ukiri mutoya wakoze irengariye uyu muhango harimo abanyarwanda harimo abanyarwanda ariko kandi harimo n'abanyamahanga bazwi cyane b'ibyamamare ku rwego rw'isi. Mu ijambo rero ashimiye by'umwihariko ashimira abatuye aka karere ka Musanze uburyo badahwema kwita kuri parike ibazanira amadovize, avuga ko nayo mpamvu hagiyeho 10% byinjira mu miryango yabo, bivuga ngo nibaramuka bakomeje kwita cyane kuri iyi parike ndetse no kubungabunga ibidukikije n'ibinyabuzima za kugenda babona. Aha rero umuhango twavuga ko usorejweho kwita izina ku nshuro ya 15 abana b'ingagi 25 ni amazina menshi biswe kuko tutatangiranye. Mu mazina yiswe harimo ingando, harimo isanzure, harimo igihango, harimo sura u Rwanda, harimo indongozi, harimo nibagwire, harimo inkoramutima, harimo umukuru, harimo ikirenga, inganji, ibirori, bisoke ndetse n'ibindi. Reka nshimire mwese aho twakomeje kubana kuri televiziyo y'u Rwanda, by'umwihariko abo twabanye muri uyu muhango wo kwita izina abana b'ingagi. Ekipi yose yamfashije kugira ngo uyu muhango dushobore kubagezaho, dukomeze kwifuriza komeza kunogerwa na gahunda zitandukanye. Televiziyo y'u Rwanda.
Na sisi wenyewe, na sisi wenyewe, na sisi wenyewe, na sisi wenyewe. Rwanda itajengwa na nani vijana?